How Opium Destroyed China's Greatest Empire. Untold History for Sleep. Hello guys, today we will know about the fading shadows of the Qing dynasty. The quiet, heavy mist that settled over the Pearl River, and the slow, rhythmic pulse of a civilization at a turning point. It is the mid-19th century in the city of Canton. This narration is here to help you relax, to let the weight of the present moment dissolve into the soft, gray light of history. There is a quiet mystery in the way the fog rolls off the water, a slow, steady change that moved through the narrow streets like a ghost. Listen softly. Let your breath slow down as we walk through the gates of a world that is beginning to drift. It is 1839, and the air is thick with more than just the scent of the sea. The city of Canton is a maze of stone and shadow. The streets are narrow, winding paths that hold the dampness of the river long after the sun has risen. They are cobbled with dark, wet stones that reflect the dim light of the paper lanterns. The fog is a constant companion. It wraps around the corners of the tea houses and the silk shops, muffling the sounds of a city that has seen too much. The houses of the ordinary people are small. They are cramped structures of brick and gray tile. Inside, the air is heavy with the smell of charcoal fires and dried herbs. There are no fireplaces, only small clay braziers that glow with a faint, orange heat. The smoke rises slowly, swirling around the low rafters before finding its way out through the small openings in the roof. It is a close, intimate warmth, a cocoon against the rising damp of the southern coast. Morning in the city begins with a soft, gray light. The people wake to the sound of the river, the rhythmic lapping of the water against the wooden pilings of the wharves. The first task of the day is to tend the fire. A woman moves quietly, her silk or cotton tunic rustling softly in the stillness. She adds small pieces of charcoal to the brazier. Watching the embers pulse with life, the children stir next. They are dressed in simple, padded jackets of indigo blue. Their clothes are worn, mended with careful stitches at the elbows and knees. They help their mother with the morning meal. It is a simple bowl of rice congee, a thin, watery porridge that warms the belly. Perhaps there is a small piece of salted fish, or a few pickled vegetables gathered from the market. They eat in silence, listening to the distant call of the street vendors. There is no rush in their movements. Time in the city moves like the river, slow, steady, and inevitable. The children wash the wooden bowls with a small amount of water. Every drop is precious. Every movement is a repetition of 1,000 years of tradition. The streets are beginning to fill with the life of the day, but it is a quiet, somber life. The workers move with heavy steps, their bamboo poles balanced across their shoulders. They carry baskets of coal, bundles of silk, and crates of tea. The rhythm of their walk is a steady thump, thump, thump on the wet cobbles. They do not speak. They save their breath for the weight they carry. Shopkeepers open their wooden shutters with a slow, creaking sound. They sweep the dust from their doorsteps. Swish, swish, swish. The sound of the broom is a peaceful, monotonous pulse. Inside the shops, the air smells of old paper, dried ginger, and the faint, sweet scent of sandalwood. The shelves are lined with jars of spices and bolts of cloth. waiting for customers who move through the fog like shadows. The transport in the city is a matter of muscle and wood. There are small wagons pulled by weary ponies, their hooves making a sharp, rhythmic tapping on the stone. There are sedan chairs carried by quiet men with calloused shoulders. The movement is slow. It takes time to navigate the narrow alleys. There is a deep patience in the waiting, a resignation to the pace of the world. Children who do not work in the shops or the fields attend small schools. They sit on narrow wooden benches, their heads bowed over books of ancient wisdom. They repeat the characters of the sages in a low, droning chant, Chi, Di, Li. The sound of their voices is a soft hum that drifts out into the foggy street. It is a sound of memory, a sound of a world that is trying to hold on to itself. But many children stay at home. They perform the chores of the household. They card raw silk. They clean the vegetables. They tend to the younger ones. Their lives are a series of small, repetitive tasks. They learn the value of silence. They learn the rhythm of the work. They watch the adults move with a strange, heavy tiredness, a tiredness that seems to come from deep within. The markets are quiet places of exchange. The vendors sit behind piles of bok choy and ginger, their faces etched with the lines of the sun and the salt. They speak in low voices, bargaining for a few copper coins. The smell of the market is a mixture of fresh earth and drying fish. It is a scent that has not changed in centuries. But beneath it, there is a new, darker odor. In the back alleys, where the fog is thickest, the opium dens are hidden behind heavy curtains. The air there is different. It is a sweet, sickly smoke that hangs in the air like a heavy blanket. The men who enter move with a slow, drifting gait. Their eyes are unfocused. Their spirits are elsewhere. They seek a rest that the world no longer provides. The daily routine of the ordinary laborer is a cycle of effort and exhaustion. He works on the docks, loading the great tea ships of the foreign merchants. The wood of the crates is rough, the ropes are coarse. He feels the weight of the empire on his back. He sees the silver flowing out and the black mud flowing in. He does not understand the politics. He only knows the heaviness of his limbs. Evening brings a softening of the light. The sun sinks behind the hills of the white cloud mountains, turning the fog into a veil of violet and gold. The city begins to draw inward. The shops close their shutters with a heavy thud. The street lamps are lit, their small, flickering flames struggling against the dampness. The meals of the evening are taken by the light of a single candle. A bowl of noodles, a bit of cabbage, a cup of weak tea. The family sits together in the cramped room, their shadows dancing on the brick walls. They talk of the price of rice, the health of the grandmother, the news from the river. They do not speak of the change. The change is too quiet to name. The evening routine is a ritual of preservation. The charcoal is banked for the night. The wooden bucket is filled with water for the morning. The children are tucked into their mats of woven straw, their padded jackets serving as blankets. The cold of the river begins to seep through the floorboards, but they are used to the chill. One by one, the voices of the city fade away. The only sound is the rhythmic call of the night watchman. He strikes a hollow bamboo tube with a wooden stick. Talk, talk, talk. It is a signal that all is well, but the sound is lonely. It echoes through the narrow, cobbled streets, a reminder of the vastness of the night. The opium smoke continues to drift from the hidden rooms. It mingles with the river fog, a slow, silent poison that moves through the veins of the city. The people sleep the sleep of the weary, their dreams filled with the ghosts of a golden age. They do not see the ships in the harbor. They do not hear the ticking of the clock. The history of the empire is being written in the silence of the night, in the slow decay of the old ways, in the heavy breath of the sleepers. The streets are empty. The lamps are dim. The world is waiting for a morning that will bring a different kind of light. The darkness of Canton is a deep, heavy velvet. It covers the poverty and the pride. It hides the narrow alleys and the grand gates. In the silence, the city feels ancient, a place that has always been and will always be. But the air is changing. The rhythm is breaking. The empire is drifting into a long, troubled sleep. The laborers on the docks turn in their sleep, their muscles twitching with the memory of the day's toil. The children dream of the stories their grandfathers told, of emperors and dragons, of a land that was the center of the world. They do not know that the center is shifting. They only know the warmth of the mat and the scent of the charcoal. The mist on the Pearl River grows thicker. It covers the sampans and the junks. It hides the foreign flags on the factories. The water moves with a slow, rhythmic pulse. Hush, hush, hush. The river knows the secrets of the city. It carries the silt and the stories out to the sea. It is a witness to the fading of the light. In the small houses, the braziers go cold. The ash turns gray. The warmth of the evening dissipates into the damp air. The people pull their indigo jackets tighter. They huddle together for warmth. They are the ordinary people, the quiet observers of a tragedy they cannot name. The night watchman moves to the next street, his lantern casting a tiny circle of light on the wet stones. His footsteps are a steady, monotonous tap, tap, tap. He is the keeper of the silence. He is the witness to the night. He strikes the bamboo once more. A lonely sound in the heart of the empire. The opium pipe is cold now. The smoke has cleared, but the shadow remains. It sits in the corners of the room. It lingers in the breath of the sleepers. It is a part of the city now, as much as the river and the fog. It is the untold history, the quiet destruction of a dream. Rest now, like the people of Canton in the year 1839. Let the fog wrap around you. Let the rhythm of the river soothe your spirit. The streets are empty. The shops are closed. The world is still. The history is long, and the night is deep. But you are safe in the silence. You are warm in the shadow. You are drifting into the past. The cobbles are wet. The lanterns are dim. And the empire is sleeping. Hello guys, today we will know about the slow fading of the Qing. The quiet streets of the ordinary. The life of the many beneath the weight of the few. This narration is here to help you relax, to let the history wash over you like a gentle tide. The city of Canton is a place of memory. Its narrow streets hold the stories of millions, the tea merchants, the silk weavers, the porters. They all lived within the shadow of the gates. They all breathed the same damp air. They all watched the same fog roll in from the sea. The houses were small, but they were homes. They held the laughter of children and the wisdom of the elders. They held the simple meals of rice and cabbage. They held the rituals of the hearth and the hope of the morning. In the 19th century, these homes were the heart of the civilization. The clothing was indigo, the color of the ordinary. It was a color that matched the twilight, a color that spoke of labor and endurance. The cotton was coarse. The wool was heavy. It was clothing designed for the work of the hands and the life of the streets. The work was the rhythm of the city, the weaving of the loom, the striking of the hammer, the pulling of the cart. It was a steady, monotonous effort, an effort that built the walls and paved the stones. It was a life of trades and shopkeeping, a life of cleaning and labor. The markets were the soul of the community. The smell of the spices, the chatter of the voices, the clinking of the coins. It was a place of connection, a place where the village met the city, where the farmer met the merchant. It was a world of wagons and horses, a world of small exchanges and long traditions. The children were the future of the past. They carried the water. They swept the floors. They learned the lessons of the ancestors. Their lives were simple. Their tasks were many. They were the quiet threads in the fabric of the empire. The evenings were the time of the fire, the glow of the charcoal, the scent of the tea, the stories of the day. It was a time of rest, a time of reflection, a time to close the door against the night. But the night was changing. The fog was carrying a new scent. The streets were holding a new shadow. The opium was moving through the alleys, a silent guest that refused to leave. It was the destruction of a dream, the end of an era. Rest now. Let the history fade into the darkness. Let the city of Canton sleep. The cobbles are quiet. The river is still. The night is yours. The fog on the Pearl River is a heavy, white curtain. It separates the city from the sea. It separates the past from the present. In the silence of the night, you can hear the water, the rhythmic pulse of the tide. Hush, hush, hush. The tea ships in the harbor are dark shapes in the mist. Their masts reach up like skeletal fingers. Their hulls are heavy with the wealth of the land. They wait for the morning. They wait for the wind. They wait for the silver that is no longer coming. In the narrow streets, the stone walls are cold to the touch. They hold the dampness of the centuries. They have seen the rise of the dynasty and they will see its fall. They do not judge. They only endure. They are the silent witnesses to the daily life of the ordinary. The lamps in the windows are flickering. Their oil is low. Their light is a pale, yellow glow that barely touches the floor. The shadows are long and deep. They move with the wind. They dance with the smoke. They are the spirits of the city. The people in the small houses are breathing slowly. Their lungs are full of the charcoal and the mist. Their hearts are full of the simple needs of the day. They do not ask for much. They only ask for the morning. They only ask for the rice. The children dream of the dragons in the clouds. They dream of the festivals and the firecrackers. They do not know of the wars to come. They do not know of the treaties and the taxes. They only know the warmth of their mothers and the sound of the rain on the tiles. The night watchman is tired. His feet ache on the cold stones. His voice is a low, monotonous drone. He counts the hours. He marks the silence. He is a part of the machine, a part of the routine. The opium dens are quiet now. The men are lost in their visions. They see a world of gold and jade. They see a world where there is no hunger and no toil. They do not see the walls around them. They do not see the decay. The sweet smoke lingers in the air. It is a ghost that haunts the city. It is a memory of a pain that has no name. It is the untold history of a great empire. A history of a slow, beautiful destruction. Rest now. Let the visions fade. Let the smoke clear. The city of Canton is asleep. The river is calm. The night is deep. The cobbles are wet. The lanterns are out. And you are safe in the past. Hello guys, today we will know about the life of the porcelain makers. The artists of the everyday. Those who worked in the heat of the kilns and the silence of the studios. It is the time of the Qing, and the clay is soft under the hand. The city of Jingdezhen is a place of fire and earth. Its streets are lined with the shards of 1,000 years of work. The air is thick with the dust of the kaolin and the smoke of the pine wood. It is a city that never sleeps, a city that breathes with the heat of the furnace. The houses of the potters are small and functional. They are built near the workshops. Their walls are stained with the gray of the clay. Inside, the braziers are always burning. The heat is necessary for the work. The warmth is a constant presence. The morning begins with the mixing of the earth, the rhythmic thud of the pestle, the splashing of the water, the kneading of the clay. It is a physical, monotonous labor, a labor that requires patience and strength. The potters move with a slow, steady grace. Their hands are covered in the white mud. The children help with the preparation. They carry the wood for the kilns. They clean the brushes for the painters. They learn the secrets of the glaze and the fire. Their lives are shaped by the porcelain. Their futures are written in the clay. The meals are simple and quick. A bowl of noodles eaten in the shadow of the kiln. A cup of tea shared with a fellow worker. There is no time for luxury. The fire must be tended. The clay must be shaped. The work is the life. The clothing is stained with the earth. The indigo tunics are faded to a pale gray. The trousers are tied with simple cords. The shoes are made of woven straw. It is clothing for the kiln. Clothing for the studio. In the afternoon, the painters sit in the quiet rooms. Their brushes move with a slow, rhythmic precision. They draw the dragons and the flowers, the landscapes and the legends. Their work is a meditation, a prayer in blue and white. The air in the studio is cool and still. The only sound is the scratching of the brush and the breathing of the artist. It is a world of focus, a world of detail, a world that exists within the curve of a bowl. But the fire is always there. The great kilns are the heart of the city. They roar with a deep, monotonous sound. They consume the wood and the thyme. They transform the mud into stone. They are the masters of the porcelain. The night in Jingdezhen is a night of orange light. The glow of the kilns illuminates the foggy streets. It casts long, flickering shadows on the brick walls. The city is a forest of chimneys, a landscape of smoke. The workers who tend the fires move like shadows in the heat. They add the logs. They check the vents. They watch the color of the flame. Their eyes are red with the smoke. Their skin is dark with the soot. The families in the small houses sleep to the sound of the kilns. It is a comforting sound, a sound of industry, a sound of survival. They do not fear the fire. They respect it. The children dream of the finished pieces, the vases that will go to the palace, the plates that will cross the sea. They dream of the beauty that comes from the dirt. They dream of the dragons that will come to life in the heat. The night watchman strikes his bamboo, but the sound is lost in the roar of the kilns. The city has its own rhythm, its own pulse. It is a city of fire and earth, a city of the Qing. Rest now. Let the heat fade. Let the smoke clear. The porcelain is cooling. The work is done. The streets are quiet. The kilns are silent. And the city is at rest. Hello guys, today we will know about the silk weavers of Suzhou, the city of gardens and water, the city where the threads of life are woven into the patterns of the night. The streets of Suzhou are canals of liquid shadow. The houses are built over the water, their white walls reflecting the dim light of the moon. The air is cool and smells of the lotus and the damp earth. It is a city of grace, a city of whispers. The houses of the weavers are filled with the sound of the loom, the rhythmic clack, clack, clack of the shuttle. It is a sound that begins at dawn and ends at dusk. It is the heartbeat of the home. The silk is soft and cool to the touch. It flows like water through the fingers. The weavers move with a slow, steady precision. Their eyes are fixed on the patterns of the thread. They create the flowers and the birds, the stories of the heavens and the earth. The children help with the cocoons. They boil the water. They find the end of the thread. They learn the patience of the silk. Their lives are a series of small, repetitive movements, a dance of fingers and light. The meals are light and simple, a bowl of rice with a few greens, a piece of bean curd, a cup of jasmine tea. They eat by the window, watching the boats pass on the canal. The water is a constant companion, a mirror of their lives. The clothing is made of the silk they cannot afford to keep. It is plain and worn, but it has a grace of its own. The indigo blue is the color of the water. The gray is the color of the mist. In the evening, the city of Suzhou becomes a world of lanterns. The red silk lamps hang from the eaves, their light dancing on the ripples of the canal. The gardens are quiet, the stones are cold, the trees are silent. The weavers close their looms. Their eyes are tired. Their fingers are stiff. They sit by the water and watch the stars. They talk of the beauty they have created, the beauty that will go to the city of Canton, the beauty that will cross the ocean. The night watchman on his boat strikes his bamboo. The sound carries across the water. A lonely, rhythmic signal in the dark. Talk, talk, talk. All is well in the city of silk. The opium dens are hidden in the shadows of the gardens. The smoke drifts over the water. It mingles with the scent of the lotus. It is a sweet, heavy dream that has no end. It is the shadow on the silk. The weavers sleep in their houses over the canal. The water lapping against the stone is a lullaby. They dream of the threads that connect the world. They dream of the patterns that never break. The history of Suzhou is a history of the thread, a history of the slow, steady weaving of the soul. The city is quiet. The canals are still. The night is deep. Rest now. Let the shuttle stop. Let the silk fall. The patterns are finished. The work is done. The water is calm. The lanterns are dim. And you are safe in the silence. Hello guys, today we will know about the tea pickers of the Fujian Hills. The people of the mist and the green. Those who gathered the leaves that fueled the world. The hills are a sea of emerald shadow. The paths are narrow and steep, winding through the clouds. The air is thin and smells of the damp earth and the fresh leaf. It is a world of silence, a world of the sky. The houses of the tea pickers are simple stone huts. They are built on the slopes. Their roofs are made of thick thatch. Inside, the braziers are used to dry the leaves. The air is heavy with the scent of the roasting tea. The morning begins in the clouds. The pickers move through the rows of tea bushes, their fingers moving with a fast, rhythmic precision. Pluck, pluck, pluck. They gather the young buds, the essence of the spring. Their baskets are heavy on their backs. The children help with the gathering. They move through the bushes like small birds. Their laughter is a soft sound in the mist. They learn the language of the leaf, the secret of the mountain. The meals are taken on the hillside. A ball of rice, a bit of salted vegetable, a drink of cold water from the spring. They sit on the rocks and watch the clouds move through the valleys. The world below is a distant dream. The clothing is rough and practical. The cotton is thick to protect against the thorns. The hats are wide to shade against the sun. It is clothing for the mountain, clothing for the mist. In the afternoon, the tea is brought to the drying floors. The leaves are spread out in the sun. They are turned by hand. A slow, rhythmic movement. Sweep, sweep, sweep. The air is thick with the fragrance. A scent that is both sweet and bitter. The pickers work until the sun sinks behind the peaks. The light is a deep, fiery orange. It touches the tops of the tea bushes. It glows in the mist. It is a moment of profound beauty, a moment of rest. The evening in the hills is a time of quiet. The fires are lit in the stone huts. The tea is roasted in the pans. The sound of the fire is a soft crackle in the stillness. The family gathered around the warmth. They talk of the harvest, the quality of the leaf, the price at the market in Canton. They do not know the world beyond the hills. They only know the rhythm of the mountain, the cycle of the seasons. The night watchman in the village below strikes his bamboo, but the sound does not reach the heights. The mountains have their own silence, their own peace. The opium is a rare guest in the hills. The air is too clean. The work is too hard. But the shadow is there. In the stories of the travelers. In the news from the coast. It is a distant threat. A cloud on the horizon. The tea pickers sleep in their stone huts. The wind in the pines is a lullaby. They dream of the green hills and the white mist. They dream of the leaves that will travel the world. The history of the tea is a history of the mountain. A history of the slow, steady gathering of the light. The hills are quiet. The clouds are still. The night is deep. Rest now. Let the basket fall. Let the leaf rest. The harvest is done. The peaks are dark. The fires are low. And you are safe in the silence. Hello guys, today we will know about the porters of the mountain passes. The men of the heavy burden and the long road. Those who carried the empire on their shoulders. The passes are narrow paths of stone and dust. They climb through the jagged peaks. They drop into the deep valleys. The air is cold and thin. It smells of the rock and the sweat. It is a world of effort. A world of the road. The porters move in long lines. Their bamboo poles groaning under the weight of the tea and the silk. Their steps are a steady, rhythmic thud. Thump, thump, thump. They do not look at the view. They look at the feet of the man in front of them. The work is a slow, monotonous grind. A test of the spirit and the bone. The porters carry more than their own weight. They carry the trade of the world. They carry the silver of the West. The children of the porters stay in the villages at the foot of the pass. They wait for the return of their fathers. They help with the small crops. They tend the animals. They learn the patience of the wait. The meals are taken by the side of the road. A piece of hard bread. A drink of water from a wooden gourd. They sit in the dust and rest their aching limbs. Their eyes are fixed on the path ahead. The clothing is worn and tattered. The sandals are made of woven grass. They are replaced every few days. The indigo blue is stained with the gray of the dust. It is clothing for the road. Clothing for the burden. In the evening, the porters reach the mountain inns. They are cramped, smoky places, filled with the smell of the charcoal and the weary men. They sleep on the floor, their poles by their side. They talk of the length of the road, the steepness of the climb, the weight of the load. They do not speak of the future. The future is the next mile, the next pass. The night watchman in the inn strikes his bamboo. A soft, muffled sound in the crowded room. All is well on the mountain road. The opium is a frequent companion for the porter. It numbs the pain of the shoulders. It quietens the ache of the legs. It turns the hard floor into a bed of clouds. It is a mercy and a curse. The porters sleep the sleep of the stone. Their breathing is heavy and slow. They dream of the flat land. They dream of the light load. They dream of the home at the end of the road. The history of the porter is a history of the path. A history of the slow, steady movement of the world. The passes are quiet. The rocks are still. The night is deep. Rest now. Let the pole fall. Let the burden rest. The road is finished. The peaks are dark. The inn is quiet. And you are safe in the silence. The fog on the Pearl River is lifting, but only a little. The morning is still a long way off. The city of Canton is held in the grip of the twilight. The stones are wet. The air is still. The daily life of the ordinary. The porcelain maker, the weaver, the tea picker, the porter. It is a life of rhythm, a life of repetition, a life of endurance. It is the foundation of the empire. The opium is the shadow that falls across the foundation. It is the silence that breaks the rhythm. It is the dream that destroys the reality. It is the untold history of the Qing. But in the night, there is peace. There is rest. There is the safety of the past. The cobbles are quiet. The river is calm. The lanterns are dim, and you are sleeping. The threads of the silk are still. The clay of the porcelain is cold. The leaves of the tea are dry. The road of the mountain is empty. The empire is at rest. The history is a lullaby, a slow, monotonous song of the many, a song of the indigo and the gray, a song of the fog and the river. Listen to the sound of the silence. Let it fill your spirit. Let it carry you into the deep. You are safe. You are warm. You are drifting. The night is long, and the morning is a dream. Sleep, sleep. In the year 1839, the world was slow. The world was steady. The world was quiet. The fog was the only boundary. The river was the only path. The hearth was the only light. Rest in the shadow. Rest in the memory. Rest in the peace. The night is yours.